up, YouTube? This is your host with the most, King Geo in the house. So, as you guys know, Omi was arrested yesterday by the FBI. I don't know how it came out news today, but I just got it today. So, but anyway, so I have here. He's out on bail. Well, I don't know if he's out on bail, but from what I see here, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put up a link. Another link. I'm gonna show you the paperwork. So it says here, case number from yesterday, CR00367. You can always Google it. It'll come out to you for free. Document B filed. It was filed yesterday, 9/21/2001, page 103. It says here the defendant is released on bail on the amount of $50,000. Okay, it doesn't say. It does not say $50,000. It says or cash secured bond. It doesn't say any. It doesn't say any of that. So I don't know if it's 10% or whatever the case may be. All right. Then it says pretrial services. The defendant shall report to the pretrial services as directed by pretrial services. The defendant shall attend mental health services under the guidance and supervision of pretrial services. 2. The defendant shall submit to random drug testing as directed by pretrial services. 3. Defendant shall refrain from excessive use of alcohol, from any use of a narcotic, drug, or other controlled substances as defined in Section 102 of the Controlled Substance Act 21. U.S. I'm going to do that. Defendant shall undergo drug and alcohol treatment if necessary as determined by the pretrial services. The other one is that the defendant shall surrender and or refrain from obtaining a passport. The defendant travel is restricted to the Eastern District of Pennsylvania and District of New Jersey, and unless prior permission is granted by pretrial services. So that means you can't leave that side of Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Firearms. The defendant shall surrender and or refrain from obtaining any firearms, any other firearms, or anyway, things that he can have any guns on firearms. Miscellaneous. The defendant shall have no contact with co-defendants, potential witnesses in this case, or individuals engaged in a criminal activity. Mr. Carrasquillo may speak with Leticia Carrasquillo and Miriam Cursado, but not about any topic relating to the allegations in the indictment. Defendant must maintain present employment. I'm still looking. And this was by U.S. District Attorney Christopher J. Mannion. And Dante Mills is his attorney. And the judge is Elizabeth T. Hay. All right. So, I was looking at a video earlier on today. I don't want to say the person's name. They said that Mimi could get in trouble because they said that Mimi was supposed to produce some paperwork. No, Mimi is not on this indictment. Mimi wasn't even in. It's not an indictment. So that person said that Mimi had to produce some bank records to show that she was involved with this. Number one, the FBI doesn't do that. The FBI doesn't tell you that. The FBI does that on its own. That's what it's called, an investigation. You know, they're not going to tell you prove to us, because it's not your job to prove. It's not your job to prove your innocence. It's their job to prove you. So you have the presence of innocence. You have you're innocent to proven guilty. So it's up to the prosecutor to in a criminal, at least in a criminal case, it's up to the prosecution to make you look guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty, right? But it's their job. They have to present their case, not you. You're just a defendant. So the FBI would never do that. So I don't know what the guy is talking about, that Mimi's in trouble. I don't know what he's talking about. But my main concern here is this. And it's not my main concern. Number one, what brought this down to this is it's called greediness. It's called being greedy. Okay? Because they seized his computers. They seized his computers. They seized his bank account. They seized this. And when he went into the spotlight, that's when the FBI caught an eye on him. People could say, "Oh, allegedly." Yeah, it's allegedly. It's always allegedly because you're not convicted yet. It's allegedly he did this. He's allegedly did that. But they went and they got his servers. So what they do is they get the servers. They know who downloaded what, who paid with what. Most of these people probably paid with a debit card from a store. So you can't, you can't trace them. Some people were foolish enough when you do IPT and you're gonna pay. Some people were foolish enough to pay with their own credit cards, which is a stupid thing to do. You buy a debit card from the street and you go to 7-Eleven and you load it with $12 or $13, whatever the case may be, and that's it. You get it over and done with. Still get caught anyway because if they want to, they'll track the card number. They'll track the card where you bought it, and then when you refilled it, there's cameras. There's so this person. That's if you were of interest. But they usually don't go. They usually don't go after the user, like the consumer is usually the one who does the illegal. So I'm gonna say something. This would have been a different scenario had Omi In Hellcat would have had his service being a just think about this. You got $34.2 million, right? According to the indictment, you could have taken those servers, you could have put them somewhere in Europe, you could put them somewhere in the Cayman Islands, you could have put them anywhere, and not have it traced to you. You could have put them on a bank account and not have it traced to you. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You rent the house, you rent the warehouse, and you let those computers run themselves. If you need to program it, okay, you do it. But you just let it run. Don't have those servers in your house. Don't have no money that's going to lead to you. And then especially, here you are, going on YouTube, showing off your cars, showing up your house. Because his house is okay. It's not a millionaire's house, okay? Jimmy Rollins owned the house. And when Jimmy Rollins bought it, he bought it like for $200,000. So $200,000 in today's day and age is nothing. You can get a house on $200,000 on an FHA loan, on a USDA loan, on a veteran loan. You know, when you put down 10% or 20% down. So it's not, so $200,000, the house that he has, $200,000 or $300,000, it's not, in today's market, it's not a lot. So, but it looks nice. It's a nice house. He goes up there. Now here's a guy who has low income buildings in Pennsylvania, and he shows off his houses. He shows off his houses, and that's how he got caught. That's how they all got caught. Because if you're gonna you have guys in Europe who have not gotten caught because they put these servers somewhere else. You can't find them. And then you have guys in Europe who do get caught because they have it in their home, or they're right there. That's stupid. You know. And then the funny thing is that Mimi acts like, oh, I thought the FBI wasn't supposed to do this. They told us, no, that's the way the FBI rolls. No matter who you are, they're gonna go pick you up like that. That's the way they are. And Omi and Mimi and even his lawyers Dante shouldn't have been surprised because they knew that this was gonna come down anyway. It was a matter of time. All right. So if the FBI took so long, and I'm talking long, this was from 2019. Remember when I started doing Omi in September 2019 or November? If they took a year and a half, no, close to 2 years to indict you, that's only because there was gathering evidence. And with COVID, you know, so they couldn't do much. But they got you on a lot of things. It's not like if you're not guilty. They got you on a lot of things. You know, I'm gonna speculate, but the infringement laws screwed. I don't think Spectrum or Xfinity, another thing they're not gonna do too much. I don't think so. But as far as the $34 million, $34.2 million, that's gonna be his downfall. Now, because now you're talking IRS money. Now you're talking the government's money. Now you're talking about, hey, you're making $34.2 million. Where's our share? You know, and if the FBI proves, if he was not smart enough, because it's kind of hard for you, if you have all these cars, you have to prove with legitimacy that all these cars, these Lambos, this is that, yeah, you got all these cars legit. legit. And most of the cars that were taken in his inventory, most of those were not his. Because if you could see those cars, if you look at the VIN number, I know I did a research the other day. I looked at some of the VIN numbers, and some of those cars that they confiscated 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they were serviced. They had oil change, they had brake change. You know, so if they're in the property, if they're the property of the FBI, why are they needing an oil change? You know, but some of the cars, if you look at the indictment, not in that indictment, but when they took his car the first time, you will see the VIN number. So it says VIN number, car, blah 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 blah, Omar Carrasquillo. So that means that that's his car. But the ones that don't have his name on it, those are not his cars. That just means that they got that car from his property, and that's it. That car was at his property. So any car that was there, even if my van was there, my van would have gotten confiscated. You know, but if those that doesn't have his name, those aren't his. So think about it. Here you have a young man, a Puerto Rican young man, who has houses and low income, and people are saying, where is he getting this money? Where's he doing this? Why is he doing that? You know, the FBI's down there thing. Maybe maybe somebody rented him the car, or maybe people are doing this. But he went too far. He just went. He did this. He did that. There's a lot of things that he could have. There's a lot of things. You can go into the limelight, bro. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not gonna down his. I'm not gonna down the hustle. But there are things that you could have. There are things that he could have done differently to avoid all this. To avoid all this. And there is, like I said, there is no gray area when there is no gray area when it comes to IPTV, because IPTV streaming things illegally. I mean, streaming is, if you don't have the permission, streaming is illegal. The United Kingdom, Europe, all those countries are coming down hard on copyright infringement. All these people that have these IPTVs, they're coming down hard. And here in the United States, they don't come down as hard because, like they said, there is a little gray area, right? But not to the extent of what Omi's claiming. You know, I can have IPTV and I'm renting it. I mean, and I'm renting it from you. I'm taking it, but I won't get as charged as you would because I'm not the one that's relaying it. He's talking about that his things were pre-recorded. It does not matter if it's pre-recorded. You're still taking it from one server, right? You're looping it around, then you put it into your server, and then you're distributing it to money. It's not like if you own a bar, and in that bar, you rent. I mean, you pay for pay-per-view, right? You pay for pay-per-view, and in that bar, 30, 40, 50 people watch that fight. It don't matter. You're not copyrighting because you paid for that pay-per-view. So you can show it off to anyone as long as you want. It does not matter. It really does not matter. You know, but what you can't do, you can't do that on pay-per-view and then take a phone and put it out on Facebook. You can't do that. Now you're going through a third party. That pay-per-view company did not give you permission for you to show it somewhere else unless it's your home or your business. So now you're going, now you, like the word said, circumventing. And so it's illegal. You know, but if you're in your own house and you want to invite the whole entire neighborhood to watch the fight, then you can. To watch a movie that you pay for, you could do that. But you cannot, without the written consent of that company, you cannot be giving out or showing pay-per-view content, any content that you don't have the rights to. You know, and now they confiscated $5.8 million of his account, or 5.4. That's money that he's not going to see. Because if that would have been different, if he would have said that money belongs to from the property that I have, that's the money that I have from my property, that's the money that I made from my property, that I invested money in, And that's the money that I've made on my own from my property. From this. If he can show that, if he can show proof that that's his, that he did that legitimately, and then that's no problem. Because, you know, the FBI, sometimes they just arrest you with no cause, and then they'll, as time goes by, they'll start gathering evidence. But in the time to gather evidence, if you can prove that that $5.2 or $5.8 million is yours, that you got that legit, however you got it legit, then that money's yours. But if you cannot prove that, you ass out. That's why here in the United States, this is why sometimes it sucks. If you are aware that if you have more than $10,000 in your, let's say, in your backpack, and you're going cross country, and a cop stops you, and they ask you what you did money, even if you prove that money's legit, that officer can take that money, and the state can stay with that money, and there's nothing you can do. Isn't that something? You work your ass off, you take out $20,000 from your 401k, and you can't, and you walk, and the cop says, "Oh, where did you get all that money?" And they can confiscate it. You go to court. There's nothing you can do about it. You know. I'm just reading here on Omi. I just like to read when I could read these things from a legitimate source. Torrent Freak is good. That's the one I got my source from. See, he documented every step of the journey in the videos posted online that advertised his subscription services, Gears TV and Gears Reloaded, which offered pirated cable TV on the cheap, while garnishly flaunting the perks of his newfound wealth. When it all came down, crashing on Tuesday, as federal court agents charged Carrasquillo, better known as nearly 800,000 subscriber YouTube, as Omi In Hellcat, as a ringleader and one of the most brazen and successful digital piracy schemes of the last decade. And remember, Omi started with Solo Man and Entertainment. He was down with those guys. Solo Man's no more Solo Man. And of course, the live stream media. 62-count indictment. Charges of the two court defendants, Jesse and Michael Barone, we got that. Wire fraud, tax evasion, and other felonies that could send them to prison for up to decades on the most serious counts. That's good. That's where I think they're going to get them at. They're going to get them at wire fraud and tax evasion. It says here, prosecutors have also moved to seize $41 million in assets, as well as 57 Lamborghinis, Bentley, Rolls Royce, and other vehicles that made up Carrasquillo's impressive fleet, and 52 properties he owned across Philadelphia, its suburbs, and South Jersey, all fruits, they say, of illicit businesses. Now, if they can prove... Sorry about that. Like I said, if the feds can prove that all these properties were property that was bought through illegally, he will lose everything. It says here, and while the federal enforcement action is likely to prove devastating to Carrasquillo's businesses, his downfall was not unexpected. For months, Carrasquillo has openly discussed his status as the target of an FBI investigation on YouTube channel, admitting in alternative morals and defying confessions to committing tax fraud and possibly other crimes, while predicting he'll end up in prison. You gotta be humble in victory and humble in defeat, he said. One posted under the FBI sees, I'm gonna do a couple of years of this. I'm gonna go to jail for a couple of years. Another of his tone turned towards the reflective, such as in a 2.5 interview with a YouTuber last year, where he recounted how his father introduced him to the drug trade, and Carrasquillo, blah, 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 blah. I hit a great area and exploited it, and they just didn't like it. That's what he said. I hit a great area. It's not a no great area. There is no great area whatsoever. There isn't. And I want to see how his attorney, Mr. Dante Mills, is going to try to discredit the government. That's going to be something that's going to be fun to see. I might go to the court just to see that. And so, using legitimate subscription to service like Comcast, Verizon, Fios, and DirecTV, a set-top cable boxes set up in homes across the country, he and his conspirator used decoder cards imported from China to strip their encrypted signals, allowing them to upload it to dedicated foreign servers. Users who access the service through hacked hardware like jailbroken Amazon Fire Stick could access full menus of live cable streaming popular on-demand content like the Games of Thrones, The Walking Dead, and blockbuster movies, all for a subscription fee as low as some cases as $15 a month. It says recent studies estimate nearly 7% of the U.S. household subscribe to services like Carrasquillo's, and the industry brings $1 billion. It doesn't mean that everybody subscribes to Carrasquillo, but it says that 7% of U.S. households subscribe to a service something like Omar's. It could be another IPTV. It could be Solomon when he has IPTV, stuff like that. It's just that 7% of the household in America subscribe to some sort of IPTV like that. And that brings in $1 billion a year in revenues in the United States alone. His was not of the first, but it became one of the most popular between 2016 and 2019. Prosecutor says, largely due to its stability, the expansive content library it offered, and its easy to navigate user interference that mimic legitimate cable service TV guides. It says Gears Reloaded was shut down for good in 2019, roughly around the time the FBI raided Carrasquillo's Swedesboro home, seizing cars, jewelry, cash, and other assets while stunned neighbors looked on. He has since tried to refashion the company as a lifestyle brand online, and he is currently living off the proceeds to make as YouTube content creator. In recent videos, Carrasquillo talks about giving up on getting most of what he lost back, but he expressed confidence that he can climb his way back to the top. I became a millionaire once, and I'll do it 150 more times, he said. See, but that's easy. That's not easy to do, because he became a millionaire through pirated TV. Through pirated TV, that's how Omar became a millionaire. You know, this is not Slumdog Millionaire that you can go and you can go to a TV show and say, you know what, I made millions, blah 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 blah, and you can't do that because he got his stuff illegally. You know, so they say. He got his stuff illegally because he's innocent until proven guilty. He got his stuff illegally. So how do you bounce from that? How are you supposed to become a millionaire coming from that? You can't do no IPTV. Okay? You could do YouTube creator, but a YouTube creator, according to Social Blade, he's only getting, let me see. According to Social Blade, okay, and maybe someone told me Social Blade is not a good source to look at, but let's, for the sake of argument, let's look at Social Blade. I'm gonna go, okay. So, alright. So according to Social Blade, Omi's ranked 241,821 in Social Blade rank, right? So according to this, he has 790,000 subscribers, not close. And that hasn't even changed. That's only gone up maybe 200,000 from 2019 to now. And the Social Blade has an estimate yearly income of between 1.9, that's $1,900, between that and $30,000 $400. So how is he gonna be a millionaire with that? $30,000. That's $15. That's making $15 an hour. Well, like $12 an hour. If you work 40 days a week for 52 weeks, that's like $12 or $13 an hour. By him generating, he would have to go to YouTube. Everybody would have to give him money all the time. He does a live. He has to do this. Everybody has to support him. That's the only way that he's going to do it. That's the only way he can do it, because he's not going to. I don't think he'll become a Paul or a Paul Logan or a Mr. Beast. That they generate money for the things they do. You know, they have sponsors. That's different. They're doing different things. But Omi's just doing his card thing and stuff like that. So if he wanted to do something like that, and he can, then he's gonna have to get himself a manager. But he could do it. But just like the way he said it, I became a millionaire once and I'll do it again. It's gonna be kind of hard. It's gonna be kind of hard because he hasn't even reached 1 million subscribers yet. 790,000. And in 2009, when I reported with Omi, he was at what, 600? He was at 500 and something, close to 600,000. That's when he said that once he reached the 500,000, he was going to give away $50,000, which he never did. Actually, he never did at that time. Recently, I heard that he did do it, but he probably gave it to someone that he knows. You know, but like I said, I don't hate nobody's hustle. You gotta make money somehow. But what the dumb thing is that if you're gonna make the hustle, if you know that this shit is illegal, do not go on TV and flaunting your shit. Just don't. You could have had your Hellcat. You could have had your house, because like I said, $300,000 is nothing, and you could have just left everything else behind, bro. And you could have just continue. You could have probably leased cars, and you could have had some people from other companies say, "Yo, let me have your cars and put them in my driveway." You know, shit like that. And you could have created a content. But he went out, and he did a persona, and he dished all this out. That he exposed himself. That's what he did. He exposed himself. Either someone snitched on him and had the FBI look after him, because the FBI had to look on YouTube and they said, "Wow." Someone snitched. Oh, you know, someone snitched and said, "You know what? It's true. This guy is Puerto Rican. Or he's Hispanic. What is he doing? What is he doing there?" Jimmy Rollins is there because Jimmy Rollins was a baseball player, so he got money. But where did he get the money? Where did he get the money to get this house? Where did he get the cash? And I looked and I searched. Yes, Omar does have some buildings in Philadelphia, but the buildings that I seen that he owns, and not necessarily him, his system, is in low income areas. So what does that generate you? Section 8 money? You know, you gotta pay property tax and all that. You gotta pay this, you gotta pay that. You know, so that's the thing, that when you do things, you just can't go overboard, bro. You just can't. And if he does any jail time, you're gonna hit jail time. Plus, he's gonna get automatically. He's gonna get hit with a $250,000 fine. That's the feds. You know, but he's out on bail. Well, I don't know if he's out on bail, but that's the bill they gave him. They gave him a $50,000 bail. I don't know if he posted it or not. That was yesterday, so let's see. Well, anyway, so peace out, everybody. Just if you're gonna do something, don't post it on YouTube. Just don't. Keep your mouth shut.